Sorted. Hello. So, who are you?
I'm Laura Beard,
Yeah. And what do you do?
a hair and makeup artist for TV and film, which is a very healthy career choice.
Yeah. And what's that like?
Intense. It's a lot of fun, but there are always a lot of negatives that go with it because it's very demanding, very long hours. So it can be very demanding on your lifestyle as well as on your body.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing it for?
9 years.
Okay. So, established.
Yes,
Established.
definitely.
And then you reached out a bit different to other people, was I think you went to the gym yourself to a spin class.
Yeah.
Wasn't feeling great about it, and then you reached out. So what was the frustration you had before we started?
So I had hurt my knee a couple of years ago. So I'd fallen when I was coming out of studio and basically hurt my foot. And in the process of hurting my foot, I also then had kind of like collateral damage then on my knee, which had been ongoing for about 2 years, where every time I tried to train, get healthy, I would hurt my knee again, and then I'd have to reset back to being an 84-year-old woman who was hobbling.
Yeah. And what was that like sort of immediately after? What was life like before you hurt your knee versus after the accident?
Super active, didn't have to think about anything really for like active wise. I think the only thing that I was getting affected by was my shoulder, which I'd also fallen 5 years previously. There's a thing. And even though it wasn't hurting, when there was times of stress or a lot of kind of demanding work, that's kind of where it would come out. So I'd have like discomfort with my back.
Yeah.
Which I could ignore if I was like going on hikes and stuff. But my knee, I couldn't.
Okay. And what was it like working with that?
Challenging.
Yeah. How so?
Because you are required to be at any location. So I've filmed at the foot of a mountain. I've had to hike through woodland, clamber down rocks to get to an actress that's, literally at the bottom of a waterfall kind of thing. So you are required to go anywhere and carry heavy bags in doing so.
Yeah.
And then obviously with long hours, your resistance to anything else going on is lowered, because when you're knackered, you can't deal with stuff as well. So then when you're knackered and then you've also got pain on top of that, your resilience goes down quite quick.
Yeah. And how did that make you feel? So other than the physical, like almost dread of I've got to get down there to get to the actress, how did you feel yourself in work and outside of work?
It definitely made me feel frustrated, because I've kind of always wanted to keep step. So it's like I don't ever like to feel like I can't do something. I've always pushed myself through to kind of get to the point that I want to get to. And it was creating a physical barrier that constantly made me feel a bit weaker, or like there was like a constant frustration there that I couldn't ever push past.
Yeah.
Because in pushing past it, it was just making it hurt more.
Yeah.
Because the way I was doing it wasn't the right way of doing it. It was just hurting it more.
And in 5 years of shoulder pain and 2 years of knee pain, what have you tried to fix it, if anything?
So much. I've gone to countless chiropractor sessions. I have been to the doctor. I have been told to take an extended course of ibuprofen, which luckily I have. Luckily I have a very good friend who's a pharmacist who very quickly told me not to do that because that's awful for you.
Yeah.
But ibuprofen gel was my new best friend, and that was a constant. I'd go to bed with ice packs, Tiger Balm. I have done acupuncture, been to a physio as well. I've had shockwave therapy on my knee. Yeah.
And how is your knee feeling at the moment?
Really good.
Okay, good. Just wanted to get that out there before the next one. What do you think made this approach work? What was it about work with me was different from the chiropractor, acupuncture, all of that jazz?
I think when I was going down like the acupuncture and the physio route, they were helping to kind of get it back to a good point, but there was nothing to kind of push it past. So it wasn't fixing where I was overcompensating. So I was pushing things more onto my left leg. So I was pushing my hip out of joint. So it was just constantly doing like a whack-a-mole of the issues as they were bubbling up, rather than actually dealing with the problem. So it's kind of like, okay, your knee hurts, we can sort that. But because you've pushed everything out, because you spent the last 2 years learning how to walk with this knee pain, you've not pushed everything back in. So you're just that problem's gonna keep on coming up unless you deal with that.
Yeah.
Sorry, dishwasher's on.
That's right. And at what point did you think this was the right decision? So you got recommended from the instructor, we had a chat, we've had 23 sessions at this point.
Yeah.
If it's happened, at what point do you think this was the right move to do, this is going to work?
There was kind of like a bit of a two-pronged approach, where I definitely got to the point where I was fed up of constantly feeling unfit and like I couldn't train, and anything that I was doing was like the wrong way of training. So I was trying to go back to like the heavy cardio and the heavier impact stuff that I used to do, but without going through the process of fixing what was broken first before getting there. So it was just like I was trying to run before I could walk, essentially, literally. But then also I'm getting married at the end of this year, and it was very much if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? Because I naturally wanted to make sure I was in the best shape for my wedding day, but I couldn't get to that shape because I kept on hitting that barrier.
Yeah. But was there a moment in our sessions that you thought, oh, we're on top of this knee pain now, or there's an end in sight since the last like 2 years of quick fix?
It's going to sound really mundane, but it was when we were doing step ups.
Yeah.
So when you step up onto the weights, and it sounds ridiculous, but I had to really concentrate on not throwing my weight to kind of compensate for it, and you had to really concentrate on what you were doing. And once I'd kind of mastered that and it just stripped it back, it wasn't long after that I managed to run up the stairs for the first time, which sounds like a silly little thing, but it was actually really massive for me. And it was like, oh my God, I've just run up the stairs for the first time. And It was like a huhuge thing where I called my partner in and like showed him I could do it. I texted you being like, oh my God, this is a massive mountain that I've climbed.
Yeah.
Because that was something that I couldn't walk upstairs properly for so long.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is that something you want to film now?
Running up the stairs.
Yeah, just quickly head into the corridor and
yeah, you can do if you want to.
I'm okay. So we've sort of spoken about how bad it was before, and how we're feeling quite good now.
Yeah.
What is life like now? What's it like working? What's it like moving around and just being yourself?
It's more considered. So, but not in I'm having to consider how I do things because of injury. I've just learned how to do things better. So when I carry my kit in, I'm conscious of how I'm picking things up, because I'm more conscious of how my posture is when I'm picking that up. So I'm not abusing my body. I don't have to think about my body because of pain. It's more I'm thinking of it to fuel it in the best way and to like warm it up or kind of recover after a day, rather than me coming home and having to sit with an ice pack and stop or think that that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
There was like a session that I remember coming in, and it was quite early on, and I had walked up the stairs and my knee had really jolted and it was really painful. It took a while for it to go. I remember coming in being like, oh, my knee's not been great. And you were like, okay, out of 10, what is it? You know, how's it feeling now? And did like a complete like, right, let's suss out what's going on. You were like, yeah, you can still train. And I was expecting you to be like, okay, well, we'll just do arms today. And you were like, no, we can still train. And we did like a full session, I think, bar one exercise. And that was like a proper, oh, shit, like I can still train and be me and do things.
Yeah.
Even if it has tweaked a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice when it's like I go into work now and it's like I've got the girls doing the warm-up exercises, and we're all very conscious of how bad our jobs are on our body, but it's nice to have an outlet of being like, okay, yeah, this is unhealthy to lift heavy kit and be like hold awkward postures, but I know a way to kind of give back to my body rather than let it break again.
Yeah. And how do you feel about exercise? So I remember the first one being that I was told you was very shy, sort of back of a room of a spin studio, didn't enjoy it. And then what's your thought on going to a gym or trying something new now versus then?
I feel a lot less intimidated. Like downstairs was kind of like this scary no-go area for me. And now I'm more than happy going down there. You actually see that it's not this intimidating place. And everybody's just there for the same purpose, essentially, which sounds ridiculous when you say it, but it seemed like it was like you had to almost get a pass to enter it. And now I'm like, oh no, I know what I'm doing. And I know like what I need, what equipment I need for what exercises, and I know what I'm doing on these machines. So I have that confidence that I can walk in there, which is nice.
Okay. And what's next?
Next is to keep on going.
Okay. For what reason?
So now that like the pain is dealt with, which I couldn't really see past fixing it. Like I was really dubious that could be done because it'd been going on for so long. It's really nice now to kind of be like, to ask what's next and to kind of look at it.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to get stronger and to kind of get in even better shape. And yeah, like I'm looking forward to hiking the Inca Trail for my honeymoon, but doing it with ease rather than just out of sheer determination.
Yeah. So enjoying it instead of surviving it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And what would you say to yourself 6 months ago? So you're here now, you didn't think it was possible to get out of pain, you've done it, and you have the chance to say to yourself or someone who's in the same boat as you, what would be your like message?
I think it would be stopping isn't the answer. Like thinking that you're doing good just by resting and letting your body recover isn't the answer. Like moving can still be recovery and gym can still be recovery. It doesn't have to be I sit, stop, put my leg up with an ice pack. Actually doing a warm up, doing some stretches, getting back and doing some weights, they're all really positive things as long as you're listening to your body and not pushing yourself past a point, but you're doing it in an informed way. And yeah, it's more I wish I'd have done it sooner. And it's kind of like now I have that knowledge, it's nice to kind of look back in hindsight, and it's definitely going to change how I approach it in future because we both know I'm going to fall over at some point.
Yeah. But you know what to do this time.
Exactly.
Is the hope.
And it was interesting so I fell again, obviously a couple of weeks, the other month. And I instantly thought, oh, here we go. This is going to be weeks of my shoulder being bad. Like, I know how this goes. And it was the same shoulder as I'd hit before. Within a week, I was fine.
Yeah.
And I kind of was like, where's the catch?
Yeah.
And it
does actually work.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. And anything else you'd like to say?
Just thank you. And you were right.
I know.
You've got that recorded now.
I know. I need to get every client to say that because we all know it. But awesome. Thank you.